Hey guys, in this video I would be discussing how you can file GST return for your Shopify dropshipping business in India. The first question arises, is GST applicable? No, GST is not applicable since neither of the supplier nor the buyer are within India. In most of the dropshipping businesses, the supplier and the buyer both are out of India. For example, we are sourcing our goods from Vietnam, China, Thailand, and other countries, and our buyers are from USA, Australia, United Kingdom, and other countries. So, in this case, no goods are entering India or are leaving India, so GST won't be applicable for us. So guys, we would be making our supplies under zero rated supplies, and for this we would be mentioning export of supply under letter of undertaking. Now what are the documents required? So guys, there are four main documents which are extremely essential for your dropshipping business in India. The first one is letter of undertaking. So since we are making our export of supplies under letter of undertaking, so we definitely need this, and I would suggest you guys to take this on number one priority. The next is the import export certificate. The third is obviously the GST certificate, and fourth is the foreign inward remittance certificate. I have prepared a full in-depth guide of how you can file your GST return and also from where you can get all these documents. I have put the link of this guide in the description, so feel free to check it out. Now let me jump to the computer and show you how to file the GST return. Sit back tight. So guys, the first step which you wanna do is download and extract the GST offline filing tool from this link, and when you visit the link from here you can simply download the offline tool. Then extract the offline tool, and after you extract the offline tool you have to open the GST R1 Excel workbook. Now when you open this GST R1 Excel workbook you will get something like this. Now our main interest is in three sections. One is the export section, EXP. One is the CDN section, this one. And the last one which we are interested in is the documents issued section. So guys, we have to only focus on and we have to only fill these three sections. So we'll start off with removing the data in all the other sections. So just do that. After deleting all the sections, your document should look like this, and you only have to focus on the three columns which I told you earlier. The method of filing return is applicable to all platforms. It's not limited up to only Shopify. You can use other platforms also like WooCommerce, BoldCommerce. It's up to you. I am giving the tutorial with Shopify, so let's check. Now guys, we would be downloading all our orders list from Shopify for the month for which we are filing the GST return. So we'll go to the Shopify dashboard in orders. Under orders we'll click on export, and I am filing the return for the month of, let's say, October. So I select October, I click CSV and I'll write export orders. Now once you click on export orders, the list will be emailed to your account. So go to your email account and download the exported orders list. So guys, I like to label the list with the month for which the orders are. So I'll open the orders list. Now guys, this is the orders list. So guys, the first column which we would be filling is the export section. This export section is basically, if you go to the help section and check the export area here, export supplies including supplies to says developer or deemed exports. Now we would be filling all our order details in this section. So first is the export type. Under export type guys, we have two options. One is with payment of tax, other is without payment of tax. We have to select without payment of tax as we are not paying any tax beforehand. Next is the invoice number, which I usually do the order number. The next is the invoice date, that is the order date of our Shopify order. Next is invoice value, and this value is in rupees guys. We have to convert any other foreign currency into rupees first before filling in this column. Next is the port code guys. When we are normally dropshipping, we don't have any information about this, so this is not applicable to us. Same with the bill number, shipping bill number, same with the shipping bill date. So we don't need to fill these three columns. Next is the rate guys. As I mentioned before, we are making our supplies under zero rated supply, so it would be 0. then the total taxable value should be the invoice value. Okay, now let me go to the CD and UR section. Guys, CD and UR section is for the refunds, like any returns or refunds which your customers are making and sending the goods back to you. For all those refunds, you have to enter the value in the credit notes for unregistered persons. UR type is export without payment of tax, that's why EXPWOP. Then is the note number. Now note number is same as the invoice number, but it has a separate series to keep a track of all the refunds. Then is a note date when the refund has been made. Then the note type. Guys, if a customer is making a return and sending the goods back to you, then it comes under credit note, so we will use C, otherwise we'll use D. In our case, we'll mostly need to fill C type notes. Then is the place of supply. Here we'll do other territory. Then is the note value. Then an applicable percentage of tax rate, we have to keep it empty. Then rate is 0. We have to keep it empty because other is 65, that is not applicable to us. Then is the taxable value. And the last section which we have to fill is the docs section. In the docs section, we have to fill the invoices for outward supply, and these total number of invoices should match the number of invoices which we have filled in the EXP section, that is the export section. And then is a credit note. So guys, here we have to select credit note, and in the credit note also we have to fill all the details of the credit notes which we have made in the CD and UR section. That's it. Now let's start filing the return. We'll open the orders list, and now you can see there is a hashtag in our invoice number, so we need to remove this hashtag. So for this we will insert another column. We'll just do insert, and here we'll use the formula which I provided. Just simply paste this formula, and here it's 1459. Now what you have to do is just go to the edge. Here a plus sign will come, and just scroll it to the bottom of the list. Now here you go, the order numbers are without the hashtags now. Now guys, these order numbers are in decreasing order, and we have to sort all the data in increasing order based on the order numbers or the invoice numbers. So what we'll do is sort them. So guys, now to sort the data, what we have to do is we'll select everything but the first row, since it's the headings. Click on the topmost left value and scroll to the bottom right, and hold on shift and click at the bottommost right cell, and then click on sort. Then sort by column B, since our invoices are in column B. Cell values A to Z, okay, and click on sort anything that looks like a number as a number, and click on OK. So here you go, our data is sorted on the basis of the invoice numbers. So guys, now copy these invoice numbers and paste it here. So guys, you might see OPE here, so just click on values and source formatting. It will take some time. So here you go. Now we have all the invoice numbers. Here it is WOP. We want it to be in all the columns, so just copy this, go to the bottom, hold shift and click on the bottom, and just use Ctrl+V to paste. Guys, keep saving the document, as sometimes the application crashes and all your work has gone to waste. Now guys, the invoice date required for our GST is in this format, and if you can see in the orders list, it is in this format. So we need to change this format to another format. Now what we'll do is we'll select the first cell, we'll scroll to the bottom, and then to change the invoice date format, press Ctrl+F or Command F if you are in the Mac. Go to replace, press space and star, and just click on replace all. So here you go, all our dates are now changed to the desired format. Now what you have to do is right click, go to format cells, then date, and then select your desired outcome. And our desired outcome is date, month and year. So we'll do the same here also. and this is our desired outcome. So we'll click on OK, and here you go. Now all our invoice dates are also in our desired format. What we want to do is select all, copy, paste it here. Okay, so here our dates are also filled. Now don't worry about these empty spaces, we'll take care of them later. Now guys, the next step is very important. Supposedly we are getting paid in US currency, and now we have to file returns in Indian currency. Now what exchange rate should we choose? Should we choose the exchange rate of the present day? No. We have to use the exchange rates of that particular days only on which the payment was made. So how would we do that? Go to this link, and here it's download historical rates for USD INR to Excel. Here we want the currency exchange rates for USD to Indian rupees, and we'll choose the dates. Since it's on yearly basis, so we would be needing from 2019 to 2020, and just click on download. So once you download this, open it, and it would look something like this. Okay, so here's the date, 1 USD to INR conversion rate. Now how are we going to use this? Now first we'll delete this column, we don't need this column. So guys, after deleting column B, what we want to do is we want to paste these values next to the column M, which is the total invoice value column. So for this, we'll select column N, right click it, and click insert. We'll do that one more time and click insert. So now we have two columns, and we'll paste all our entries in these two columns. So select the entries. Guys, we only need the October data, so select this and press delete and delete. We need data only for the month for which we are filing the return, so we will delete all the other values. So guys, once we've done that, we'll copy these entries and we'll paste here in the two columns which we've made earlier. So just select these two columns and press Ctrl V, and here again we'll do values and source formatting. Now guys, these hashes are nothing, you just have to extend it. I extended it by double clicking this thing here, so the values will appear. Now guys, we have to name these columns as conversion dates and conversion rates. Now if you want, you can highlight these columns also. Now how you would be highlighting this is just select these two columns in home, just click yellow. Now what you want to do is insert another column next to these two columns. So right click, click insert, and here we can write rates according to dates. Now what we have to do is select this cell, that is P2, and paste this formula. And guys, here if it's a 31 days month, then you have to put here 32. Okay, press enter. So here you go. Okay guys, so now this rate is equal to the conversion rate on the date of 1st October. Even if you check the date on 1st October, that is here 73.0322. So that's what this formula is doing. It's basically extracting the correct exchange rates from these two columns on the basis of the date of this column, that is column E. So that means that on 1st October, we want the exchange rate to be used to be 73.022. So that's what we are doing. Okay, now what we have to do is just click on the plus sign and drag to the bottom of the document. So here you go. Now we have all the rates according to the dates. Now what we want to do is we will insert one more column, and here we'll write the total value in INR. So guys, after inserting another column with the column name total value in INR, what we want to do is we want to multiply the total with the rates according to the dates, so that we'll get the total value in INR of how much the order value was. So what we'll do is we'll write equal to, select this, then click multiply into, and select total, this, and press enter. So this is the total value. Now again we'll go to the bottom. Here is a small plus sign and drag it to the bottom of the document. So guys, here you go. And this is extra value, we'll delete it. So guys, these are the total invoice values. Now we'll select all, copy them and just paste them. Select this and just paste. Again we have to just do keep source value and formatting. These values are pasted here now. So guys, also do note that for example here invoice number 1323, it doesn't has a date but it was placed. So guys, since this order was refunded, that's why the date is missing here. So we can manually put the date here and here. So guys, these 3 columns are same. This means that it's a 3 item order. As you can see, it's a 3 item order. So that's why the other 2 columns are empty and only the first column has the total value in it. So that's what we need. So we'll be deleting the other 2 entries. And in the other cases also you can check where if any refund has been made. So keep note of the refunds. You can also check for refunded in this column, in the column D, by selecting this column and press Ctrl F and type refund and then find all. Then there are 2 orders. One is partially refunded here, 1323, and the other is 1363. So as you can see in 1363 also date is mentioned, but I think in partially refunded there is some issue, that's why the date was not mentioned. So we'll just manually put in the date here. We'll put the date here and we'll put the date in our return also here. Guys, we have to write the total order value and the refunded value would be written in the credit notes. So guys, you'll copy this value and just paste it here. Use a keep source and value formatting. Now we just wanna delete these values in for which the date was not there. Guys, while deleting, just check whether the same invoice number is just above that or not. If it's there, then it's okay, it's fine. And if not, then you have to do it the same way as we did for the above order 1323. So guys, now once this is done, your total invoice value should be mentioned here. Now what you want to do is copy this rate and paste it till the bottom of the document. Okay, now what you want to do is delete these taxable values and we'll paste the invoice values, since these would be the values which would be the total taxable values. Now after selecting, just paste it here. So guys, I would also suggest just rechecking the number of invoices, as it's mentioned 139 here. So, and here it's our invoices start from 1320. 1459 minus 1320 is 139 and that should be plus 1. So total number of invoices should be 140. Here as you can see, I think I have deleted 1431 invoice also by mistake. It's missing. So we'll just quickly populate the values. 1431 and the date was missing, right? Yeah, and the date is missing, and also because the total value is also 0 of the invoice. It's just a temporary invoice, I think, which was created by Shopify. So that's why the date was missing. So you have to check if any invoices is missing, and since it's a $0, we'll just put in the date of 23rd October only. Then we'll put the invoice value as 0. Now the total taxable value should be shown here. So guys, our export section is completely filled up now. So guys, now we have to do the same procedure for the CD and UR section, that is the refund section. So we'll go to the refund section. Guys, you have to continue the credit note number series. For example, if the last credit note number was 8, then you have to continue with 9 while filing the GST return for the next month. So in my case, for example, my last note series was ending with number 8. So I'll be starting with number 9. So go to the CD and UR note number 9. And guys, do remember that in the place of supply, you have to keep it empty, blank. In the note value, we will be writing the refund value. The rate would be 0. The taxable value would be equal to the note value. Now what we'll do is select the financial status column and do Control F and search for refund, find all. So here we have two refunds. So the first refund is 1323. It was a partial refund. We'll select this column, shift towards right and check the refunded amount. So here it is, the refunded amount is 85.94. We'll do the same procedure for the refunded amount, and for this we'll insert one column, and here we'll name is total refunded amount, and then we'll insert another column, total refunded amount INR. Alright, now we can color these columns so that it's easy to take a note of these. We want a refund of 85.94. The date of this refund was, now guys, I had deleted the total refunded amount since we only need the total refunded amount in INR. Now the same transaction charges would be applied, which were applied on that particular date on which payment was made while refunding the money back through PayPal. So that's what we're gonna do. Since it's 85.94, we'll check the date on which payment was made. Since this payment was made on 1st October, we'll check what were the exchange rates of 1st October. It was 73.022. You can use the same method as I told before, or you can just straight away multiply it. I'm just gonna straight away multiply it because I don't have a lot of refunds. So this will equal to this into 73.022. So here we have both the refund values. So copy them and paste it in our other GST page. You'll copy this, you'll paste it here. Note value is 10 for the next refund. Here change the date to 1st October when the refund was made. Other refund was on 8th October. Copy it and paste it here. It's also a credit note C. We'll keep the place of supply empty. Copy the rate, paste it here. The total taxable values for these two columns would be the note values. So copy these two and paste. So that's it guys. These are the values and details which we needed to fill in this page. Now we are going to fill the documents issued section. So go to the doc section. Here we'll write the number of invoices for outward supply. So for invoices for outward supply, we'll check our orders. That is from 1320 to 1459. So 1320 to 1459. Total number is, you can check the total number here. It's 140. Just write 140, cancelled a 0. Then credit notes. In credit notes, we will write the number from C9 to C10. As you can see here, it's C9 to C10. Total number is 2 and cancelled a 0. So that's it. Just save this. So that's it guys. This was all the information which we needed to fill in the document. Now it's time to upload the document to a GST portal. Open the GST offline tool. You need to install this offline tool. If you've already installed it, fine. Otherwise you can install it. I've already installed it, so I won't be installing it. Go to the GST offline tool application. Now here's upload new invoice or other data for return. Click on new. Here is GST statement returns. So click on GST R1 and write down your GST in. Select the financial year and the tax period. And select here no. We are not a SEC taxpayer. After filling in your GST in, click on proceed. So guys, now what you wanna do is you have two options. Either you can import the whole Excel which we have filled just now, but there are usually some errors which come up when we import the whole Excel. Since it's very large, maybe that's the reason. So what I would suggest doing is just select the sections of our interest and upload the separate CSVs for each of them. So guys, what you want to do now is go to section by CSV files, GST R1, and just copy the three sections, docs, CD and UR, and the export section, EXP. Copy them. Then go to the GST offline tool, paste them here. Now open the EXP section. Now open our workbook and go to exp section, copy everything. Okay, delete this data, paste our copied data. Okay, and now just delete these empty rows. You can also delete these empty rows in the starting orders list, so that you don't have to delete them again and again. Now right click and select delete. Now select all these numbers and click here and convert to number. If it's not converted to number, just convert it to number. Okay, so that's it. Save it, go to the offline tool, import section, click on exp, export invoices, import CSV. Just click on exp and open and click yes. These have been imported. I had already tried importing them before, so that's why this warning is coming, but it's fine. Similarly, you will be doing for documents issued. Open the docs section. Now go to the docs section here, delete all of this, then copy your data, then paste this. Then guys, please note that we have to only keep fields which we are interested in here and delete the rest of the rows. So I'll delete these rows, save it, go to the software, import CSV, docs, open, yes, success. Okay, we want the credit notes section for unregistered person, that is 9B. Okay, now open CD and UR and open a workbook, go to CD and UR, copy these data, delete all of this, paste the copied data here. Just recheck once that the node date, place of supply is empty, node value is there, applicable percentage of rate is not mentioned, and that should not be mentioned either, and rate is 0.00. It's fine. Click save, go through a tool, import CSV and click CD and UR, open, yes. So here also all unique invoices have been imported, click OK. Now what you wanna do is go on, click view summary. Guys, do note that the documents issued section doesn't come in the summary, so we can add that later. You can click on generate file. So you can save this, just save this. Now this is the JSON file. Go to the GST portal and log into the GST portal. Okay, go to the return dashboard, click 2020-21 October, search. Here is prepare offline, click here, choose file, upload your JSON file. Now it will take up to 15 minutes to validate your JSON file. Okay, so after you waited for some time, now visit the prepare online section of GST-R1. Here all your data should be displayed. So we had 140 invoices, total taxable value was this, documents issued are 2. So just check here which documents issued are here. One is the invoices and one is the credit note, so that's right. Then you can also check the total taxable value here with your the one in your workbook. So 1386947, it's 946.99. yeah, it's fine. Now if everything seems good, just click on submit, proceed. So guys, now we have submitted the GST-R1. Now guys, we'll be filing GST-R1. So here it's file return, click on file return, I hereby confirm, then file with DVC or any method you want. So guys, after filing the GST-R1 successfully, we will be filing now GST-R3. To file GST-R3, go to 2021 October, search and click prepare online. While filing GST-R3, please note the exact setting. This should be made no, this should be yes, and everything else no. Okay, then click next, then click here tax on outward supplies. Now we have to file in 0 rated. And guys, this is very important that you have to write here the exact value which was written in GST R1. You can either check the GST R1 also, that what value was written there. Go to returns, October, search, view GST R1, 13,86,946. So here also we'll write the same, 13,86,946.99. So right, this should be exactly same, or your data matching wouldn't be correct and they would be issuing your GST return filing. So that's it. You just have to press confirm, save GST R3B, then system generated R3B. Click on this. Then you can proceed to payment. You can make payment. Click yes. Offset should be successful, guys. Once offset is successful, go to proceed to file, confirm, and then just simply file it with EVC or any other method. So guys, now we also have to adjust the invoices which would be generated by Shopify, because they don't contain export of supply under LUT and IEC number and all those details. So we have to also include that. So for that, what we will do is we will download the order printer app. We will install this app, order printer app by Shopify. So add this app. Once you have added this app, go open this app, and here we would be adjusting minor codes inside the app. So I'll tell you what you have to adjust. Once it's open, go to manage templates, and you will have a by default the invoice template. You can duplicate this template. So once you've duplicated the template, open the duplicated template. So what you have to do is at the top, paste the below code. Paste this code just like I have done here. So you'll have here invoice for order name. Here you have to add bill of supply, strong style, 2EM. In the brackets you have to write export supply against LUT. So basically just copy this thing. Do remember that you have to replace the GST number, add your GST number, your PAN number, and your IEC code. And here it will be your shop.address, shop.city, and shop.country. Here it will be your shop name. So once you do that, this is how your order should look. So bill of supply, export supply against LUT, your shop name should be here, your address should be here, your IEC, PAN and GST should be here. So guys, this is one of the things which needs to be done. And the last and the final thing which needs to be done is you have to visit this link, foreign inward remittance certificate. Visit this link, check out all the details, and basically you have to send an email to Citibank with these details, and you have to request them for the foreign inward remittance certificate for all your sales transactions. Now just click here to view the sample request letter format. Open this format. Now here you have to write the reference number of the transaction. So this you will get from your bank statement. In your bank statement, just search PayPal and sort it with PayPal, so that you can find all the transactions related to PayPal. Then you have to write down all these transaction details, then the transaction date, then the beneficiary account number, which is your account number in which the payment has come from PayPal, and then the beneficiary name, that is your account name, which would be the current account name. Fill this form, a total amount of 100 rupees per transaction till 20 transactions, or if you are requesting bulk certificates for all the transactions, then it would charge you 2000 rupees plus 18% GST. So you have to make an NEFT payment or in the Citibank account, and once you make that payment, you have to share the reference number of that payment in the sample mail format which they have provided. That would be required for the foreign inward remittance certificate. So guys, this was a bit complicated, but this is the exact procedure. And guys, all these guidelines and this document should be completely followed so that you comply with the GST regulations. And this is it. That's all in depth, in detail, how you can file GST return for your Shopify dropshipping business. So thank you so much guys. Do like and do share and do comment down below. If you like the video, please support the channel and it means a lot. I will come again with new content and new videos. So keep sharing, keep liking, Keep supporting. Thank you so much. Good luck, peace, and much love. Bye.